Time at rest, exploring the past, slowly. 30,000 years ago, near what is now the Carpathian Basin in modern-day Romania, you move cautiously along a river's edge with your hunting party. A heavy silence has settled around you. Birds vanish from the treetops, and even the smallest insects seem to hold their breath. Your hand tightens around your spear before you even realize why. Then you see it. At the edge of the forest, moonlight fractures through skeletal branches. The unmistakable shape of a cave lion emerges from the darkness. Massive, muscular, poised with the unshakable authority of a creature that knows it owns this world. Larger than any you have seen, it moves with quiet, absolute control. Shoulders ripple like living stone beneath golden brown fur, paws soundless against the frozen earth. Its eyes catch the light for just a moment, pale, calculating, indifferent to fear or fascination. This hunter does not roar, it does not charge, it simply exists, and the world bends slightly around it. This is Ice Age Eurasia, a continent shaped and ruled by apex predators. Out on the open steppe beyond the tree line, scimitar-toothed cats, like Homotherium, run prey down with relentless endurance. In the broken woodlands and river valleys, another predator lurks, Megantereon, the Eurasian saber-toothed cat. Wolves move unseen, thinking together. Hyenas linger at the margins, listening for hesitation, injury, exhaustion. Fast, cheetah-like cats test the limits of speed itself. Even the caves are claimed by giants, where bears sleep and humans must negotiate for prized shelter. To survive on the vast mammoth steppes of Ice Age Eurasia, humans had to become students of danger. Watching how wolves coordinated, how cats waited in silence, how bears defended space, and how every hunter learned to read the warnings written in snow, wind, and stillness. This is a journey into that world. A time when dominance was never guaranteed, when fear was rational, and when the line between hunter and hunted could shift with a single step. Among snow-dusted forests, open steppes, and shadowed river valleys, we will encounter and draw inspiration from some of the most iconic apex predators of the Ice Age. This was a land forged by rivalry, cunning, and adaptation, where humans did not rise alone, but learned, endured, and ultimately thrived alongside the predators that taught them patience, strategy, and a deep respect for the wild. The Eurasian Ice Age was a world dominated by giants, but among them, one predator stood above all, in both size and symbolic power: the cave lion, Panthera spelaea. They were roughly a quarter size larger than modern African lions, with some weighing 600 to 700 pounds and standing nearly 4 feet at the shoulder. If one of these were dropped into the Serengeti today, it would instantly be the biggest cat around. They roamed across Europe and Siberia, imposing their presence on every steppe, forest edge, and river valley. Unlike any feline alive today, the cave lion was a predator that could challenge even the largest herbivores of the time, from steppe bison to wild horses, and perhaps even young mammoths. They were apex predators, not merely by size, but by strategy and adaptability. For early humans and Neanderthals, who shared this landscape, cave lions inspired awe, fear, and deep fascination. In cave paintings from Chauvet and Altamira, the cave lion appears frequently, immortalized in pigment, as a symbol of power, survival, and the wild majesty of the Ice Age. Cave lions evolved roughly 370,000 years ago, branching off from a common ancestor shared with modern lions. They were genetically distinct, and evidence suggests they never developed the manes typical of African males, giving them a sleek, powerful silhouette optimized for hunting across open land. They were built for endurance rather than short bursts of speed, and their wide paws helped them traverse snow-laden plains without sinking, an adaptation critical for survival in a world dominated by freezing winters and unpredictable terrain. Their dominance spanned much of the late Pleistocene, from Western Europe through Siberia, adapting to diverse environments that ranged from icy plains to mosaic landscapes of forest and steppe. These adventurous cave lions even reached North America by crossing the Bering Land Bridge via Siberia. Their populations would later evolve into distinct North American form, known as the American lion, Panthera atrox. Physically, cave lions were awe-inspiring. Adult males could weigh between 7 and 800 pounds, 300,500 kilograms, with long, muscular limbs capable of explosive movement, and jaws armed with sharp teeth designed to pierce thick hides. Their powerful neck and shoulder muscles allowed them to grapple with prey, while their claws could anchor their massive bodies during a struggle. Some trade-offs existed. Their size meant they could not accelerate as quickly as smaller felines, but working in groups compensated for this, allowing them to isolate prey and coordinate attacks with a precision that modern lions rarely match. It is also believed that cave lions were likely capable of roaring louder than African lions today, a vocal signal that would carry across the open steppe to coordinate hunts or assert dominance. We can only imagine the fear the sound of cave lions would have instilled in early humans. The cave lion's ecological role was central to the mammoth steppe. They regulated populations of herbivores, such as steppe bison, wild horses, and giant deer, ensuring that these herds did not overwhelm the vegetation of the steppe. Evidence from fossilized bones shows distinctive bite marks, demonstrating that cave lions actively hunted and brought down large prey. At the same time, they competed with other apex predators. Their presence influenced the behavior of herbivores, driving seasonal migrations and shaping herd distribution, which in turn affected human hunting strategies and settlement patterns. In contrast to modern lions, cave lions were likely more social, hunting in coalitions that allowed them to bring down prey many times their own weight. They likely lived in prides, led by dominant females who coordinated hunting. Cubs were nurtured cooperatively, learning essential hunting skills from multiple adults. Seasonal patterns dictated their movement, with hunts timed to coincide with herd migrations and environmental conditions. Some evidence suggests that humans may have even captured cave lion cubs, possibly for symbolic or ritualistic purposes, a rare glimpse into the interaction of humans and one of the Ice Age's most formidable predators. The relationship with humans was complex. These powerful predators were rarely hunted directly, likely only on exceptional occasions, for trophies, symbolic purposes, or the prized warmth of their fur, rather than for subsistence. Yet cave lions loomed large in the human imagination. In some rare archaeological cases, humans scavenged from cave lion kills, or used bones for tools, creating a tangible connection between people and predator. At Chauvet Cave in southern France, dated to around 36,000 years ago, cave lions dominate the imagery in powerful A manner. They are depicted as coordinated, advancing predators, seemingly in large prides, most strikingly in the famous lion panel, where multiple lions appear to surge forward in motion. Humans are conspicuously absent from these scenes, a choice many scholars interpret as intentional, positioning the viewer psychologically within a landscape ruled by apex predators. Seen by flickering torchlight deep inside the cave, the images suggest an early worldview in which humans recognized themselves not as masters of nature, but as vulnerable participants in a dangerous and highly competitive world. One of the most fascinating works of prehistoric art is the Lion Man of Hollenstein-Stadel. It's a figurine carved from mammoth ivory around 40,000 years ago, and is among the oldest known sculptures which depicts a human and animal hybrid, in this case, an Ice Age apex predator. It is a possible representation of early shamanistic or spiritual beliefs. Ultimately, the Lion Man reflects how early humans understood power by merging themselves with the most dangerous animal they knew. This gesture explores ideas of transformation, dominance, and spiritual connection in a world where survival depended on mastering both nature and imagination. Cave lions began to decline as the Pleistocene drew to a close, facing a combination of climate warming, shrinking habitats, declining prey, and increasing human activity. Some survived into the early Holocene in the remote Siberian tundra, a final testament to their resilience. They disappeared completely around 13,000 years ago in Beringia and Yukon. Their disappearance had cascading ecological effects. Herbivore populations were freed from their greatest predators, altering steppe dynamics and paving the way for smaller carnivores to fill the void. The legacy of the cave lion endures in both biology and imagination. Genetically related to modern lions, their fossils allow scientists to study predator-prey interactions, evolution, and behavior in ecosystems that no longer exist. They teach us about the power of apex predators to shape landscapes and influence human culture. Before we continue, consider supporting the creation of long-form historical documentaries like this one by subscribing or liking. These small but meaningful gestures allow us to bring more ancient stories to life. And now, let us continue to walk the frozen steppes and shadowed forests of Ice Age Eurasia, where apex predators ruled the land. We will follow their movements, witness their hunts, and uncover the subtle lessons they left behind. Stories of survival, adaptation, and the rise of humanity in the late Pleistocene world. Picture the vast, wind-swept steppes of Ice Age Europe, where herds of bison thunder across frozen plains and the air smells sharp with frost and predator scent. In this world of extremes, speed and strategy meant survival. Among the shadows of scattered trees and icy river valleys, a predator moved with uncanny precision. A long-legged, relentless hunter built for endurance and cunning. This was Homotherium latidens, a cat designed not for ambush, but for the chase. Stalking herds across miles of open land, reading the rhythm of the herds, and striking with surgical timing. To the humans and Neanderthals who watched from a safe distance, this was no ordinary threat. It was a masterclass in adaptation. A living example of how evolution had turned muscle, mind, and instinct into a predator capable of dominating its harsh, frozen world. Sleek, long-legged, and built for endurance, these cats are the marathon runners of the Pleistocene, designed for chasing down the giants of the mammoth steppe. Unlike the cave lion, which relies on sheer power and cooperative hunting, Homotherium combines speed, intelligence, and specialized weaponry. Its iconic saber-like canines to take on Megafauna. In the frozen plains and mosaic woodlands of Europe and Asia, these predators are apex hunters, shaping the behavior and evolution of the herds they stalk. For humans and Neanderthals, encountering a Scimitar-Toothed cat isn't just dangerous, it's awe-inspiring. A living demonstration of how specialization and adaptation can conquer even the harshest Ice Age environments. Homotherium evolved in Africa and spread across Eurasia around 2.5 million years ago, persisting well into the late Pleistocene. At its peak, during the middle-late Pleistocene, it occupied one of the largest ranges of any Ice Age big cat, far broader than most would expect. Its vast range extended from the Iberian Peninsula of Europe to Siberian Asia. They even spread to North and South America, exploiting a diverse range of climates, including open steppe landscapes and lightly forested regions. Unlike its more famous cousin Smilodon, which dominated the Americas, Homotherium was more genetically adapted to colder climates, with a leaner body, longer limbs, and flexible joints that allowed it to pursue prey over long distances. Its reign of dominance in Eurasia coincided with the abundance of Ice Age herbivores such as mammoths, steppe bison, and wild horses. A period when its unique hunting style could flourish without intense competition. Its closest living relatives are the modern cats of the genus Panthera, but nothing alive today replicates the combination of speed and endurance that Homotherium possessed. Despite its fearsome teeth, Homotherium's canines were relatively short compared to Smilodon, making them less likely to break when striking moving prey, an evolutionary adaptation to hunting fast, large animals in open terrain. Physically, Homotherium was striking. Most scientific estimates place an adult up to 440 pounds, roughly comparable to a large, modern lion. Its limbs were proportionally longer, with powerful forelimbs capable of grappling prey, while its hind limbs provided both speed and agility. Its head was relatively small for a cat of its size, but its jaw was capable of opening wide enough to deliver precise, slicing bites with its elongated upper canines. Unlike lions, which rely on brute force, Homotherium used leverage, precision, and timing to disable prey. Fossil evidence suggests that Homotherium could run down herbivores for several minutes at moderate speeds, a hunting style unusual among big cats, which tend to rely on stealth and short bursts of speed. In the ecological web of the Ice Age, Homotherium was both hunter and regulator. Its primary diet consisted of medium to large herbivores, steppe bison, horses, young mammoths, and giant deer. By targeting weaker or isolated individuals, it helped maintain herd health and population balance. Fossilized bones show distinctive tooth marks consistent with scimitar-tooth predation, confirming their role as apex hunters. Competition was fierce. They shared territory with other apex predators of the day. They likely avoided direct conflicts with others by hunting in slightly different niches, favoring open plains where its endurance and speed gave it an edge. Studies suggest that they may have ambushed herds at the edge of cliffs or river crossings, similar to hunting strategies seen in lions today. Behaviorally, Homotherium was likely social, though not as socially complex as modern lions. At several Eurasian and North American sites, notably the Middle Pleistocene site of Schöningen in northern Germany and Friesenhahn Cave in Texas, Homotherium fossils occur in close association with large herbivores such as horses and even mammoths, among other megafauna, prey that would have been dangerous or impractical for a single cat to subdue. Cubs were probably raised with prolonged parental guidance, learning stalking, pursuit, and coordinated attack strategies over several years. Seasonal movements likely tracked herbivore migrations across open steppe corridors and river valleys, making these cats highly attuned to landscape rhythms. Their inferred hunting style required patience, coordination, and forward planning, cognitive traits rare among modern large cats. Humans and Homotherium coexisted, but their interactions were subtle. Early Homo sapiens and Neanderthals were aware of these predators' presence, likely avoiding areas with recent kills or fresh tracks. Unlike cave lions, there is little evidence that humans actively hunted Homotherium adults. They were simply too dangerous, but occasional scavenging from kills was possible. Unlike some of its contemporaries, Homotherium did not survive into the Holocene. Its disappearance left a niche in the steppe ecosystem, which was partially filled by other large cats and human hunters, altering predator-prey dynamics in subtle but meaningful ways. One of the things that makes Homotherium so iconic is how different it feels from the predators we know today. This wasn't a clumsy saber-tooth waiting in ambush. It was fast, long-legged, and built for pursuit, a specialist in taking down big, dangerous prey. By piecing together its bones and wear patterns, scientists can start to picture an Ice Age world that was harsh, loud, and full of tension. Among the giants of the Ice Age, few animals capture both awe and mystery like the cave bear Ursus spelaeus. Standing as one of the largest bear species to ever exist, it was a dominant presence across Europe and parts of Western Asia. Unlike the carnivorous apex predators we've encountered, lions, saber-toothed cats, or giant hyenas, the cave bear was largely herbivorous, yet it held a commanding position in the ecosystem. Its sheer size and dominance over cave habitats made it a formidable neighbor for early humans and Neanderthals, who often sought shelter in the same rocky recesses. For the animals and humans of the Ice Age, cave bears were both competitors and cohabitants, embodying the raw scale, endurance, and unpredictability of Pleistocene life. Cave bears evolved from ancestral brown bears roughly 300,000 to 500,000 years ago, spreading widely across Europe, from Spain to the Caucasus and into Siberia. They were specialized for the cold climates of the Pleistocene, adapting to diets rich in roots, berries, nuts, and seasonal vegetation. Dental analysis reveals that cave bears were among the first large bears to develop teeth specifically for grinding plants, rather than tearing flesh, showing a remarkable divergence from modern omnivorous relatives. They lived during a time when the Ice Age landscape was basically an all-you-can-eat buffet, and it shows in their size. Fully grown males could tip the scales at well over 2,000 pounds, about the weight of a small pickup truck. To a human on the ground, they wouldn't just have been bigger, they would have felt the size of a tree, its strong limbs covered in muscle and fur. Physically, cave bears were imposing, but also well adapted to their ecological niche. Their massive shoulders and muscular forelimbs allowed them to dig for roots and tubers, access honeycombs, and even climb rocky slopes. The skull was robust, with a high dome and large molars, yet powerful jaws could still deliver a dangerous bite if threatened. Despite their size, cave bears were not as agile or fast as carnivorous predators, relying on intimidation and territorial dominance rather than speed to navigate the Ice Age landscape. It is thought that cave bears may have been capable of long hibernations lasting up to 7 months, conserving energy during harsh winters and giving them an unusual rhythm compared to other large predators. Ecologically, cave bears played a critical role in shaping both vegetation and landscape dynamics. By feeding on roots and berries and trampling vegetation, they influenced plant communities across forests and meadows. Their habit of using caves for shelter created dens that became ecological hotspots, supporting smaller animals, insects, and even humans who later sought refuge or scavenged bones for tools. While largely herbivorous, they were also opportunistic omnivores, likely to hunt or scavenge animals, adding a subtle carnivorous element to their ecological impact. Their preference for occupying caves has provided us with exceptionally rich fossil records, allowing scientists to reconstruct Pleistocene ecosystems with great clarity. Some caves contain hundreds of cave bear skeletons, suggesting these animals may have returned repeatedly to favored dens across generations, creating ancestral cemeteries that most likely fascinated early human observers. Behaviorally, cave bears were mostly solitary outside of mating and rearing cubs. Males established territories, while females raised 1 to 3 cubs per litter. Cubs were dependent on maternal care for the first year, learning which plants were edible and how to navigate cave systems. Seasonal patterns were dominated by hibernation, with bears emerging in spring to feed and reproduce. This rhythm dictated interactions with other predators and humans, creating predictable periods when caves were empty or occupied by one of the largest and most intimidating mammals of the Ice Age. The relationship with humans was complex and marked by an uneasy coexistence. While caves may not have provided much warmth by modern standards, during the Ice Age, this was prime real estate, offering protection from wind, predators, and extreme cold, and humans clearly understood that these spaces already belonged to something powerful. Archaeological evidence shows that people sometimes moved into caves only after bears had vacated them for the season, suggesting an awareness of shared territory rather than casual takeover. Archaeological evidence shows that humans occasionally killed or processed adult cave bear Ursus spelaeus, though such encounters were rare and highly dangerous. Cut marks on cave bear bones, particularly around joints and muscle attachments, indicate deliberate butchery rather than casual scavenging, yet their scarcity suggests that bears were not routine prey. These events likely occurred during moments of direct competition for shelter. In late winter or early spring, when bears were hibernating, humans may have entered caves knowing the risk, attempting to drive out or kill a weakened bear in order to claim a vital refuge. This would have been a tense confrontation inside dark caves, using fire, spears, and coordination to overcome a powerful animal capable of easily killing humans. The fact that such acts were undertaken at all underscores how valuable caves were during the Ice Age and why cave bears were treated with caution and respect. In places like Chauvet Cave, bears appear prominently in some of the earliest known cave art, rendered with care and confidence, suggesting that these animals were not imagined monsters, but well-known presences worthy of attention. Archaeological layers in many caves show alternating periods of bear hibernation and human occupation. Even more striking are discoveries such as deliberately placed bear skulls at sites like Drachenloch Cave, where skulls appear arranged on stone slabs or tucked into niches, hinting at ritual behavior rather than chance. While scholars debate the exact meaning of these arrangements, they strongly suggest that cave bears held symbolic weight, perhaps as guardians of caves, embodiments of strength, or creatures tied to cycles of winter death and spring return. The decline of the cave bear began around 50,000 years ago, well before the end of the Pleistocene. As the Ice Age progressed, changes in vegetation likely reduced the availability of high-energy plants, while human expansion increasingly encroached on their preferred dens. By roughly 24,000 years ago, cave bears had vanished from the Eurasian landscape. Their disappearance had cascading effects. Caves once dominated by these giants were now available to smaller predators, humans, and other fauna, altering prey-to-prey dynamics and ecosystem structures. The legacy of the cave bear is profound. These giants challenge our ideas of what an apex species can be. They were dominant without being hypercarnivorous. Their fossils and preserved remains provide unparalleled insight into Pleistocene ecology, diet, and behavior. DNA analysis has revealed that cave bears are a sister group to modern brown bears, showing how evolutionary experimentation during the Ice Age produced forms both familiar and extraordinary. In the shadow of the Ice Age giants roamed a predator unlike any living today. The giant, short-faced hyena, Pachycrocuta brevirostris. Imagine a creature with the size closer to a modern lioness than to a modern spotted hyena. Muscular, intimidating, and built for power. The giant hyena was a hybrid of hunter and scavenger, capable of crushing bones that would make modern lions and wolves hesitate. Across the steppes and forests of Eurasia, this hyena was both feared and misunderstood. While humans marveled at lions and cats, it was the hyena that often determined the fate of a carcass, influencing predator-prey dynamics in ways no single lion or saber-tooth could. Unlike the sleek, solitary hunters of the cat family, short-faced hyenas were highly social, complex, and astonishingly effective. Truly one of the Ice Age's most fascinating apex predators. These cunning animals evolved in Africa and spread into Eurasia during the Pleistocene, thriving from around 800,000 to 100,000 years ago. They belong to the same family as modern spotted hyenas, but their size and ecological role were dramatically amplified. The giant short-faced hyena was a true Ice Age powerhouse, with adults weighing 330 pounds, 150 kilograms or more, about twice the size of modern spotted hyenas, and stood nearly 5 feet tall, facing level most of your people. Its massive skull alone, about 16 inches, 40 centimeters long, designed to crush bones with incredible force, far exceeding any modern hyena. Its evolutionary success was built on a combination of bone-crushing strength, endurance, and social behavior, allowing it to dominate carcasses and prey alike. Fossil evidence indicates that its jaws were capable of crushing femurs and skulls, extracting marrow that would be inaccessible to other predators. This ability gave it a unique ecological niche, essentially creating a new type of predator that could exploit resources others could not. Physically, the giant short-faced hyena was an imposing figure. Its enormous premols were designed to shatter bones, while its forelimbs were muscular and robust, optimized for grappling and pinning prey. Unlike modern hyenas, Pachycrocuta was less specialized for long-distance running and more for ambush and short bursts of power, combined with social coordination to overpower larger animals. Its body was stocky, yet agile, allowing it to chase herbivores for short distances and then rely on group tactics to bring them down. The giant hyena evolved a neck that was so muscular it could carry carcasses heavier than its own body, a true testament to how they became the Ice Age's ultimate scavenger. Ecologically, the giant short-faced hyena was both predator and recycler. Its diet was varied. It hunted smaller prey, scavenged from kills of lions or saber-toothed cats, and occasionally targeted young or weak megafauna. By consuming bones, it recycled essential nutrients back into the ecosystem, impacting plant and soil composition. Fossilized bones often bear its distinctive bite marks, confirming its role as both scavenger and active predator. Strong evidence for bone-rich hyena dens comes from the early Pleistocene site of Megantereon in southeastern Spain, which has been conclusively identified as a communal hyena den. Excavations there have recovered tens of thousands of bones, including those of elephants, horses, bison, large carnivores, and other hyenas, many showing telltale hyena tooth marks and marrow-cracking fractures. Studies demonstrate that these remains were deliberately transported and processed by hyenas over long periods, turning the den into a massive prehistoric archive. Behaviorally, giant short-faced hyenas were highly social. Clans could include dozens of individuals, cooperating in hunting, defense, and carcass consumption. This social structure enabled them to challenge prey far larger than themselves, including steppe bison and wild horses. Cubs were likely raised cooperatively, learning to hunt and scavenge within the clan hierarchy. Seasonal strategies would have been tied to prey migrations, with hyenas following herds or scavenging carcasses left behind by other predators. In modern spotted hyenas, it's the females who rule the clan, larger, stronger, and socially dominant, leading hunts and deciding who eats first, while males take more subordinate roles. With giant, short-faced hyenas, the picture is less clear. Fossils suggest that males were slightly larger and more robust than females. Still, it's easy to imagine a similar division of labor in these Ice Age packs. Perhaps females directed the hunt, using their knowledge of prey behavior on the landscape to coordinate the group, while the bigger males brought brute strength to defend kills, confront competitors, or hold down a carcass. This mix of size differences and potential female leadership would have made their packs highly effective, strategic brains and raw muscle working together to dominate the steppe. In this way, giant hyenas were not just effective predators, they were a powerhouse of social cunning and ample strength, where every member played a vital role in survival. Humans shared the landscape with these formidable hyenas, and evidence suggests a mix of caution and opportunism. While adult hyenas were dangerous, early Homo sapiens and Neanderthals may have scavenged from abandoned kills or competed for resources at den sites. Some human bones show gnaw marks from giant hyenas, indicating occasional lethal encounters or scavenging. Unlike lions or saber-toothed cats, these hyenas were not often depicted in cave art, perhaps reflecting a more practical fear than admiration. Still, their presence would have shaped human hunting strategies and settlement choices, influencing where camps could safely be placed. While there are no accounts of hyenas systematically hunting humans, fossil evidence shows that Ice Age hyenas did feed on anatomically modern humans on occasion. At several late Pleistocene European cave sites, human remains attributed to Homo sapiens have been recovered with tooth pits, gnaw marks, and breakage patterns, diagnostic of hyena feeding. often in contexts interpreted as hyena dens rather than human burials. These finds indicate that cave hyenas at least scavenged human bodies and likely preyed opportunistically on vulnerable individuals. As the Pleistocene drew to a close, the giant short-faced hyena disappeared, leaving an ecological vacuum in the steppe scavenger guild. Their absence allowed smaller carnivores to exploit resources previously monopolized by these bone-crushing giants, subtly reshaping predator-prey dynamics across Eurasia. Yet, their story did not end with extinction. Modern hyenas, spotted, striped, and brown, are the evolutionary heirs of the same family, carrying forward the genetic, anatomical, and behavioral foundations laid by their Ice Age relatives. While today's hyenas are smaller, more versatile, and adapted to savannas, grasslands, and forests rather than frozen steppes, they still possess the trademarks of their ancestors: powerful jaws capable of crushing bones, sharp intelligence, and complex social behaviors for cooperative hunting and scavenging. Studying giant hyena helps us see their modern equivalents, not as odd or ungainly survivors, but as descendants of apex predators that once dominated vast, harsh landscapes, shaping ecosystems on a continental scale. In their speed, cunning, and adaptability, today's hyenas offer a living reminder of a lineage that mastered survival in some of the planet's most extreme environments. Large Pleistocene forms across the vast Eurasian landscapes of the Ice Age, wolves were far more than the familiar creatures we know today. The Ice Age wolf, a larger, more robust form of Canis lupus, was a master of endurance, strategy, and social hunting. These wolves roamed the mammoth steppe and patchwork woodlands in cohesive packs, shaping the populations of herbivores and influencing the movements of other predators, including humans. Unlike solitary predators, the Ice Age wolf relied on intelligence, communication, and teamwork to survive in an environment dominated by giants. Their role was not just as hunters, but as ecosystem engineers, subtly influencing which species thrived and which struggled in a world of megafauna. For early humans, wolves were both competitors and companions in the stories they carried, a reminder that survival required cunning as much as strength. Ice Age wolves evolved during the Pleistocene from ancestral populations that had already adapted to cold climates and large prey, but these wolves were truly giants compared to modern counterparts. Fossil evidence suggests they could weigh up to 175 pounds, 80 kilograms. Standing nearly 3 feet, about 90 centimeters at the shoulder, and almost as tall as an early human at the head. Their skulls were engineered for bone-crushing bites. Ice Age wolves were like living siege engines, built to take down herbivores far larger than themselves. Their powerful, clamping jaws and muscular limbs allowed them to coordinate ambushes on bison, horses, and even young mammoths, making them apex predators of the vast Eurasian steppe. Compared to today's grey wolves, many of which weigh just 80 to 100 pounds, these Ice Age forms were twice as robust, twice as fearsome, and perfectly tuned to the rhythms of megafaunal hunting. Modern wolves might carry their legacy in behavior, pack dynamics, and intelligence, but the scale and raw power of Ice Age wolves are a reminder that these ancestors roamed a world where every hunt was a calculated battle against giants, a world where survival demanded both cunning and brute force. Physically, these wolves were built for both strength and stamina, long, muscular legs allowed them to travel great distances across the frozen steppe, keeping pace with migrating herds. Their jaws were wide and strong, teeth optimized for tearing flesh and crunching bones when necessary. Unlike solitary big cats, the wolf's survival strategy relied on pack coordination, making their anatomy a reflection of intelligence and cooperation as much as predatory power. It is speculated that their endurance and stamina were their superpowers, enabling them to pursue herds for miles in open terrain, a hunting style that combines strategy, patience, and speed. Ecologically, Ice Age wolves regulated populations of large herbivores and scavenged opportunistically when needed. Packs could bring down prey far larger than an individual wolf, demonstrating remarkable teamwork and strategic hunting techniques. Bite marks on fossil bones reveal hunting patterns, suggesting coordinated attacks where weaker, older, or isolated animals were targeted first. Wolves also influenced other predators indirectly. Their presence could push prey away from certain areas, creating hunting opportunities for cats like cave lions or saber-toothed species. Wolves likely had seasonal hunting strategies, following herbivore migrations across the steppe and forests to maximize energy efficiency and pack survival. Behaviorally, Ice Age wolves were social and intelligent. Packs consisted of dominant breeding pairs, subadults, and non-breeding helpers, creating a sophisticated social hierarchy. Cubs were raised cooperatively, learning hunting techniques, pack communication, and survival strategies. Communication was complex. Vocalizations, body language, and scent marking allowed the pack to coordinate during hunts, defend territory, and avoid conflict with other predators. This complex social behavior may have been one of the reasons humans eventually domesticated wolves, recognizing intelligence and pack loyalty that mirrored early human social groups. The relationship between Ice Age wolves and early humans was multifaceted. Early Homo sapiens and Neanderthals coexisted with these predators, sometimes competing for the same prey or scavenging opportunities. Fossil evidence indicates occasional predation on humans, particularly lone individuals, but more often, humans observed wolf hunting strategies and likely adapted their own techniques accordingly. Wolves, in turn, benefited from human presence, scavenging from kills left behind or trailing hunting parties to take advantage of dismembered prey. Evidence suggests that the bond between Ice Age wolves and early European humans was already beginning to take shape during the late Pleistocene, long before full domestication. While humans were still roaming as hunter-gatherers across the steppe, they did so alongside wolves, sometimes benefiting from their presence as alert sentinels or scavengers. The oldest undisputed domestic dog, found at Bonn, Oberkassel, Germany, dated to around 14,000 years ago, comes from the very end of the late Pleistocene and demonstrates clear signs of human care and intentional burial. This remarkable find confirms that by this time, humans and wolves had already established a relationship built on mutual benefit, trust, and social complexity, an early partnership that would eventually give rise to one of the most enduring human-animal bonds in history. As the Pleistocene gave way to the Holocene, the world changed rapidly. Many of the great megafauna disappeared, and with them, the massive prey that once fueled enormous wolf packs. Wolves adapted, shifting to smaller animals and more forested or fragmented habitats, gradually evolving into the modern forms we recognize today. Yet the Ice Age wolves left an enduring mark. Their strategic hunting, social intelligence, and remarkable endurance are traits still visible in their descendants. These early wolves likely influenced the dynamics of herds, culling the weak or sick and helping maintain the health and balance of ecosystems, a role modern wolves continue to play in places like the Carpathian Mountains of Eastern Europe, the tundra of Siberia, and the Central Asian steppes, where they hunt deer, wild horses, saiga antelopes, and other herbivores in vast open landscapes. Beyond their ecological influence, Ice Age wolves shaped human culture in profound ways. Early humans observed their coordination, communication, and persistence, seeing both a competitor and a model for cooperation. This relationship eventually blossomed into the domestication of dogs, the first true human-animal alliance. Modern wolves, with their complex social structures and cooperative hunting strategies, offer a window into these early interactions. They remind us that apex predators are not simply solitary killers, but intelligent, strategic, and deeply interconnected members of the ecosystems they inhabit. From inspiring myths and stories to forming the foundation of our loyal canine companions, the legacy of the Ice Age wolf continues to echo in both nature and human society, bridging the frozen plains of prehistory with the forests and fields we share today. When people think about the great predators of the Ice Age, one image almost always comes to mind: the saber-toothed cat. But saber-toothed cat isn't a single animal. It's a broad term used to describe several extinct carnivorous mammals that evolved dramatically elongated upper canine teeth. Among this diverse group, one species stands out as especially unusual and impressive: the Eurasian Megantereon. Smaller than Homotherium, it was nevertheless a highly specialized predator, designed for stealth, precision, and ambush. Across the woodlands, grasslands, and forested river valleys of Pleistocene Europe and Asia, it carved out a niche that relied less on brute strength and more on cunning, patience, and the deadly effectiveness of its elongated upper canines. In a world shared with cave lions, wolves, hyenas, and humans, the Eurasian saber-toothed cat demonstrates the incredible diversity of apex predators and the subtle ways evolution produces specialists that thrive alongside giants. For humans and Neanderthals, encountering a saber-tooth was both terrifying and awe-inspiring, a living embodiment of the dangers and beauty of Ice Age life. The Eurasian saber-toothed cat evolved around 2.5 million years ago in Africa, before dispersing into Eurasia roughly 1 million years ago. Fossil evidence shows its presence from Spain to Siberia, spanning a variety of habitats from open savanna-like steppe to denser forests. Its evolutionary lineage ties it to the Machairodontinae subfamily, the saber-toothed cats, a lineage that diverged from modern cats around 15 million years ago. Physically, they were smaller and more compact than Homotherium, but no less dangerous. Adult individuals weighed roughly 90,150 kilograms, roughly the size of a modern lioness, but with proportionally stronger forelimbs and neck muscles. Its skull was robust, yet its bite was highly specialized. The canines could pierce vital areas with minimal effort, while the jaw allowed for a wide gape, but a relatively weaker overall bite force compared to lions. This trade-off highlights its strategy of ambush and precision, rather than overpowering prey. Its teeth were curved and serrated, perfect for slicing through thick hides and delivering precise killing bites. making it a lethal ambush predator, even against prey much larger than itself. Ecologically, Eurasian saber-toothed cats filled a predator niche distinct from other large cats. It preyed on medium-sized herbivores, likely including young bison, deer, and even juvenile megafauna, like mammoths or aurochs. Its ambush style minimized risk and allowed it to coexist with larger predators, striking quickly from cover or during moments of vulnerability. Fossil evidence suggests that it often targeted the throat or soft underbelly of its prey, making its attacks fast, efficient, and deadly without engaging in prolonged struggles. Competition with cave lions and Homotherium may have been mitigated by timing, habitat preference, or prey selection, illustrating how multiple apex predators could coexist in the same landscapes. Behaviorally, saber-tooths were likely solitary or paired, rather than living in large social groups like wolves or hyenas. Its hunting required patience, stealth, and keen observation, traits that would have been learned and honed over several years by juveniles under maternal care. Seasonal adaptations were essential. During colder periods, it may have relied more on ambushing vulnerable prey rather than chasing large herbivores across open snowfields. Their elongated canines were vulnerable to breakage, meaning that successful kills were critical for survival. This pressure likely shaped their careful, calculated hunting behavior, highlighting a predator that thrived through strategy and precision rather than brute force. Its interactions with humans were subtle but significant. Early Homo sapiens and Neanderthals would have been aware of its presence, likely tracking its movements through signs of kills or dens. While adults may have been too dangerous to hunt directly, humans may have scavenged its kills or used its remains for tools and ritual purposes. Saber-tooths rarely shows up as a clearly identifiable figure in cave art, but that doesn't mean it was unrecognized or revered. In fact, these were a special kind of predator that made early humans jump at shadows, an ambush cat lurking at the edge of firelight or in the tree line, invisible until it struck. That idea of the unseen hunter stuck in our heads long after the animal itself disappeared. You can see echoes of it in myths and stories across cultures. The Norse Fenrir, bound because of the threat he might unleash, or Jormungand, the serpent lurking out of sight, are basically the Ice Age's version of a quiet but deadly predator waiting for the perfect moment. And if you want a modern twist, think about the way the velociraptors in Jurassic Park hide in the shadows, strike fast, and teach us fear without showing off constantly. They helped program our imagination to respect, fear, and tell stories about the predator that's just beyond the light. The decline and disappearance of saber-tooths occurred alongside broader ecological and climatic shifts in the late Pleistocene. Changing vegetation, the disappearance of key prey species, and competition from both humans and larger carnivores placed pressures on this specialized predator. Unlike some megafaunal species that adapted to new habitats, its highly specialized hunting strategy provided limited flexibility. By the end of the Pleistocene, its populations had dwindled, leaving the ecosystems to be dominated by more generalist predators, such as cave lions and wolves. The Eurasian saber-toothed cat wasn't just another predator, it was evolution's high-stakes experiment in specialization. Its long, curved canines, flexible limbs were perfectly tuned for a world where a single misstep could mean death. A predator built for opportunity, precision, and patience, rather than sheer force. Unlike lions or wolves, it relied on timing, observation, and a deadly economy of movement. And while it may be gone, its presence still lingers in the ways humans think about danger and strategy. The unseen hunter. The predator that strikes from shadows. The saber-tooth became a powerful symbol for where danger lurks, just beyond the light. In the end, it teaches us that dominance in a world of giants isn't just about power. It's about the subtle artistry of survival, lessons that resonates far beyond the Ice Age itself. Among the diverse predators of the Eurasian Ice Age, few were as sleek, specialized, and striking as the Asiatic cheetah-like cats. These fleet-footed hunters were marvels of adaptation, built for speed, precision, and endurance across the open steppe. In a world dominated by towering herbivores, massive bears, and apex predators, these cheetah-like cats occupied a unique niche, relying on agility rather than brute strength, intelligence rather than intimidation. Their existence reminds us that the Ice Age was not just about colossal size, but also about diversity of form and function, where strategy, speed, and specialization were just as vital for survival. The evolutionary story of Asiatic cheetah-like cats is a wild journey across continents. Their lineage actually began in North America, where early relatives like the American cheetah evolved as sleek, lightweight predators built for speed. With long limbs, a flexible spine, and semi-retractable claws, these cats were the sprinters of the Ice Age, chasing down fast-moving prey across open landscapes. During the Pleistocene, land bridges like Beringia allowed them to migrate from North America into Asia, following open grasslands and prey herds. Once in Eurasia, they adapted to local conditions and evolved into the ancestors of the Asiatic cheetah, spreading into arid regions and steppe environments. Some populations even made their way south into Africa, likely drawn by savannas and grasslands that mirrored their original hunting grounds. Today, the Asiatic cheetah, Acinonyx jubatus venaticus, is a critically endangered survivor of this once far-flung lineage, which survives only in modern-day Iran. It is a living reminder of a predator family that once spanned 2 continents. Their journey from North America to Asia and back to Africa is a testament to the adaptability, speed, and persistence that defined these cats. These animals weren't just sprinters, they were evolutionary, long-distance runners that spanned across continents long before humans ever put foot to steppe. Fossil evidence indicates they ranged widely across Eurasia, from the steppe regions of Central Asia to parts of Siberia, thriving roughly between 200,000 and 20,000 years ago. Their slender, elongated bodies, long limbs, and flexible spines made them capable of short bursts of incredible speed. Similar in proportion to modern cheetahs, but adapted for hunting in snowy, grassland, or lightly forested habitats. Unlike larger cats, these predators relied on stealth, timing, and explosive acceleration to catch prey, making them an elegant counterpoint to the more massive, powerful hunters of the Ice Age. Physically, Asiatic cheetah-like cats were built for hunting efficiency. Their elongated legs allowed for rapid acceleration, while their long tails provided balance during high-speed maneuvers. Their jaws and teeth were smaller than those of lions or saber-tooths, but perfectly suited to biting into soft tissue and dispatching small to medium herbivores quickly. Unlike modern cheetahs, which primarily hunt in the heat of day, Ice Age adaptations may have included nighttime hunting patterns, taking advantage of low light conditions to stalk prey while avoiding competition with larger predators like cave lions or wolves. Ecologically, these cats played an essential role in controlling populations of smaller herbivores, such as steppe gazelles, young wild horses, and juvenile deer. Their presence allowed herbivore populations to stay in balance, indirectly supporting the vegetation and landscape health. Unlike apex predators that could dominate or monopolize large prey, Asiatic cheetah-like cats specialized in speed and precision, ensuring that their impact was concentrated on a different ecological tier. By focusing on younger or more vulnerable animals, they may have helped maintain the genetic health of herbivore populations, removing weaker individuals from a gene pool. Behaviorally, these cats were likely solitary or hunted in small family groups, relying on agility, stealth, and intelligence to secure food. Unlike wolves or hyenas, they lacked pack cooperation, which meant each hunt required careful strategy and perfect execution. Cubs would have been raised with maternal guidance, learning the nuances of stalking, sprinting, and timing attacks to survive in a landscape filled with larger predators. Their hunting style likely included short, explosive chases, requiring prey to make split-second decisions to escape, creating a high-stakes drama across the open steppe. Humans shared the landscape with these cats, although interactions were probably minimal compared to encounters with larger, more conspicuous predators. While there is little evidence of humans hunting Asiatic cheetah-like cats directly, they would have been keenly aware of their presence, especially when stalking the same herds of wild horses or gazelles. These cheetahs may have indirectly influenced human hunting strategies, as early hunters learned to anticipate where the fastest predators struck, gaining insights into herd movements and predator behavior. Their elegance, speed, and near invisibility in the landscape contributed to a subtle but constant presence in the lives of Ice Age peoples. The decline of Asiatic cheetah-like cats was gradual, linked to climate changes, shrinking steppe habitats, and the disappearance of smaller prey species at the end of the Pleistocene. Unlike generalist predators such as wolves or cave lions, their highly specialized niche left them vulnerable to ecological disruption. The legacy of Asiatic cheetah-like cats is one of ecological elegance, precision, and specialization. They were not the largest or most dominant predators, yet their speed, intelligence, and hunting strategies allowed them to thrive alongside giants. In reconstructing Ice Age ecosystems, they remind us that survival was not solely about size or strength. Adaptation and agility were equally powerful tools. In reflecting on their place in the Ice Age world, you see a predator that exemplifies balance and specialization. The cheetah-like cats complemented the ecosystem, targeting prey overlooked by larger carnivores and adding tension and variety to predator-prey interactions. Their story emphasizes the diversity of strategies life employed to survive in a harsh, changing world, highlighting that the Pleistocene was alive not only with giants, but also with elegant specialists whose skills were as refined as any human hunters. The Asiatic cheetah-like cats, though less celebrated than lions or saber-toothed cats, were a marvel of the Ice Age steppe. They embody the principle that survival depends not solely on power. They embody the principle that survival depends not solely on power, but on speed and precision, weaving an intricate web of life that shaped the rhythms of herbivores, fellow predators, and even early human communities. In the frosted grasslands and forest edges of Eurasia, their presence added layers of complexity, drama, and beauty to a world dominated by megafauna. Stepping back from the snowy steppes, shadowed forests, and frozen river valleys of Ice Age Europe and Asia, one thing becomes clear. This was a world shaped by apex predators. Cave lions patrolled the forests with silent authority. Saber-toothed cats stalked their prey with lethal precision. Wolves coordinated hunts with intelligence and endurance, while giant hyenas ruled open plains with social cunning and bone-crushing power. Even cave bears, enormous and largely solitary, left their mark on landscapes and human perception alike. These predators were not simply threats, they were dynamic, strategic, and integral to the rhythms of the Pleistocene world. Survival in this world depended on more than strength. Intelligence, observation, and social coordination were just as critical. Humans learned to anticipate, adapt, and coexist, transforming once dangerous predators into teachers of strategy, sources of cultural inspiration, and, ultimately, companions in their ascent to dominance. Early in human evolution, our ancestors weren't exactly apex predators. They were more like the day's special on a predator's menu. Fossil evidence shows that early hominids were preyed upon by leopards, hyenas, and other large carnivores, with bite marks on bones serving as stark reminders of their vulnerability. Even as Homo erectus emerged with a larger brain, longer limbs, and endurance running capabilities, they still faced predation while scavenging and hunting. Stone tools gave them a critical edge, allowing coordinated attacks on prey and defense against predators, but the balance was far from settled. For millions of years, humans were clever hunters in training, learning strategies and social cooperation that would gradually shift the balance of power. By the late Pleistocene and early Holocene, the world of Ice Age Europe and Asia had grown increasingly perilous. Predators of all shapes and sizes crowded every landscape. It was into this ecosystem that Neanderthals and Homo sapiens emerged, not as passive participants in the food chain, but as learners, strategists, and eventually the most formidable hunters the planet had ever seen. Sites like Schöningen in Germany, with carefully crafted wooden spears and butchered large mammals, show that humans were now deliberate and formidable hunters, capable of taking down massive herbivores and competing carnivores alike. Importantly, humans' rise to the top was not just about tools and weapons. It was forged in close contact with the predators around them. Observing wolves, lions, saber-toothed cats, and hyenas taught humans about strategy, teamwork, patience, and timing. Coexisting with these apex predators helped early humans refine hunting tactics, anticipate animal behavior, and coordinate as a group, effectively turning lessons in survival into dominance. In a sense, humans became apex predators because they had learned from, adapted to, and outsmarted the very creatures that once threatened them. Humans were not only influenced by these predators in practical ways, they were inspired by them. Observing the cunning of wolves, the patience of saber-toothed cats, and the sheer power of cave lions, early humans absorbed lessons in strategy, cooperation, and timing. Cave paintings and carvings from sites such as Chauvet and Lascaux record these animals in vivid detail, suggesting reverence, fascination, and even symbolic or spiritual significance. Predators became recurring archetypes in popular culture: the wolf as a cunning hunter, the lion as a ruler of the land, the bear as a guardian of caves. These deep-rooted symbols echo in modern culture, from the wolves of Game of Thrones to the lion imagery in art, heraldry, and film, showing that Ice Age predators continue to shape and inspire human imagination. Even as the Pleistocene ended, the lessons of these predators endure. Their strategies, social complexity, and interactions with humans foreshadowed relationships that would continue into the Holocene, including the domestication of dogs and the nuanced understanding of predator behavior that informs both ecology and culture today. Studying these apex predators reminds us that dominance in an ecosystem is not solely a matter of size or strength, but of strategy, adaptability, and interconnection. The predators of Ice Age Europe and Asia were not obstacles to human progress. They were partners in a shared landscape of survival, challenge, and learning. This was a world where humans and predators coexisted, each shaping the other, creating a rich tapestry of life defined by skill, observation, and adaptability. This was a world where humans and predators lived in constant negotiation, each shaping the other through skill, awareness, and restraint. From that tension emerged a deep understanding of the natural world, one that still echoes today, etched into ancient cave walls and carried forward in the stories we continue to tell, reminding us where we came from and what it once meant to survive. And with that, our quiet journey alongside the Ice Age's great apex predators comes to a close. Thank you very much for watching or listening, and for sharing this moment of deep time together. If you found this experience enjoyable or calming, a like or a subscribe helps more than you know. Until our paths cross again, rest well.